Greetings, everybody. Nickie Brown here. No matter where you are and what part of the world you are in, I hope that you are having a good day. Ooh, Well, I wanted to talk about a very serious topic. Um, Basically, majority of society has been conditioned to not talk about toxic relatives, especially if it was one of the female relatives, like a mother, a grandmother, a aunt. Um, People say, "Oh, you only get one mother." Right? Or, oh, I wish my grandmother was still living. Or, oh, I wish my mother was still living, right? Um, but when you grew up in a toxic situation, sure, you appreciate having been brought into this life by that parent. Um, but there's such a stigma against talking about, yeah, my mother wasn't good to me. Telling that truth. And by telling that truth, that's how you heal, right? So let's specifically talk about um, grandmothers, right? Maternal or paternal, right? Whether you call her Gigi, Nana, uh, G-Ma, whatever you call her, right? Doesn't matter. Um, if you have a grandmother who makes you feel bad, that's toxic, right? I know I basically had to go no contact with my grandmother, and I made that decision this year. And it came after taking my life coaching courses, and I realized when I attempted to set boundaries over the years, my boundaries were always ignored, right? Then she would try to make it seem like I was the bad person, I was the bitch, right? Then she would become the victim and she would start crying simply because I asked her to be encouraging, to be supportive. You know, if I called to ask you for advice, I would like the advice. How is it that I called to ask you for advice? You totally ignore what I say, and the next thing you know, you change the subject. You're talking about yourself and what happened when you went to Walmart. And it would leave me so confused, like, what just happened? I'm calling you for about something serious that's concerning me, and you completely just ignored me and blew me off and started talking about something that makes no sense, right? But the icing on the cake was I asked her just to listen to me. You know, again, she becomes a victim. She starts crying. She blames it on me. She gossips to other people about me. Again, making it seem like I'm the bad person. She'll invite them over and cook dinner. See, I'm a good person. They try to prove themselves or validate themselves or make it seem like they're not the ones that's doing anything wrong, right? But I found an email that 10 years prior, I had been asking her the exact same thing. And in that present moment, she was saying to me, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Talk to me. Tell me what you want me to do. I've told you this 1,000 times already. I've asked you to listen to me. I've begged. I've yelled. I've said it calmly. I've said it patiently. I said it jokingly. And still nothing because you don't want to do that. You don't want to respect me. You still want to treat me like I'm 12 years old and try to control me and think that you can make decisions in my life better than I can, right? And then, there will be those times when I didn't want to call because anytime I saw her number come up on the caller ID, I would cringe. You shouldn't feel that way about your grandmother because you don't know what she's going to say, whether or not you're going to get cussed out and yelled at that day, right? These are supposed to be pleasant experiences. You go out to lunch, you buy her flowers or she even buys you flowers, right? And because of her life circumstances and the way she chose to do things, and I chose to earn my degree, if someone in a family transitioned, she would rush and buy a plane ticket so she could fly from Vegas to New Jersey or wherever to attend the services, right? I graduated. She act like she could not attend at all. Right? Didn't even say congratulations, I'm proud of you or anything. These are some of the toxic things that they do. And she has more than 5 narcissistic personality traits. But we're not supposed to diagnose people. But when you have somebody who's dishonest and will really go out their way to try to manipulate you, especially with money, right? They'll do something for you. And then if you can't be controlled, now they have attitude. Now you're the worst person in the world, right? Because they couldn't control and manipulate you with your money, which is really a form of bullying, right? Then they try to guilt or shame you. She would try to guilt or shame me. Oh, you don't want to answer the phone when I call, or you don't call me because I don't like talking to you. It's not pleasant. And I would basically say that in so many words. Like, you don't listen to me. You don't give me good advice. I call to tell you about vitamins to take. You tell me I think you're stupid. And you cuss me out and hang up the phone on me because I'm trying to help you be healthier? Does that make sense? I don't think so. That doesn't make logical sense at all. And it's almost like you're afraid to say anything, right? They make you afraid to want to say anything to them because, again, you don't even know how they're going to react or respond. Like, that's a form of bullying. It doesn't matter if it's your grandmother. It doesn't matter if it's your mother. They make you not want to talk to them, right? And I know that I'm not the only person in this situation. They have total disregard for your boundaries, right? If you set a boundary and you ask your kid not to do something, they'll let the kid do it anyway, right? You know, one of the things my grandmother used to do, and she did it to my mother too. And so if you're are raised by someone who has more than 5 narcissistic personality traits, those traits tend to be passed down, right? She would come over and rearrange the furniture. Like, say if you leave and go to the store, you come back, the furniture's rearranged. The last time she did that, you know what I did? I put everything back and I said, do not move my stuff without my permission. Because what would happen is she would call herself cleaning up. First of all, you're cleaning up so you can be nosy and look through stuff and see what's going on in somebody's life, right? It's not just it's a form of control, right? So now you come to my house, you rearrange my furniture. Again, I put it all back and I said, don't do that. That was me setting a boundary. And people were like, oh, that's your grandmother. You should have just let her do it and wait till she left and then put it back. No, that's unacceptable. You don't do that because you feel like it would be better in that position, than the way I had it. But I had it that way for a reason, right? And in previous years, I did just let her do it, not say anything, and wait till she left and I put it back. But that particular time, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not allowing you to just come here and do whatever you want to do without my permission. I'm not a child. I know how I want my furniture. This is my place. And I set it up the way that I wanted it to be set up, and it was for a reason. Then again, I would ask her again, just listen to me. If I talk about something, don't just change the subject. Listen to what I actually have to say. I mean, begging, pleading, crying over the years, right? She's not willing to change. She's not concerned about what I'm saying. She'll make it seem like she's not doing anything wrong. And again, she'll become the victim and try to flip it around on me and make it seem like it's me. And I would ask myself over the years, why would anybody want to talk to somebody like that? Every relationship should be equal give and take. Every relationship should have reciprocity. There should be no one, whether it's a relative, a romantic partner, sister and brother relationship, a friendship, every relationship should have reciprocity. So if you call somebody And all they want to do is sit on the phone and talk about themselves, and they never want to talk about anything that you want to talk about. That's a problem. And again, they try to guilt and shame you. She would try to guilt and shame me. And again, if you talk to people who don't understand or who are not willing to admit the truth for themselves, and maybe they're going through a similar situation, it's like, oh, well, you only get one mother, or oh, that's your grandmother. It doesn't matter. She doesn't make me feel good. This is not a normal, healthy mother, daughter, granddaughter, grandmother relationship. It's not. She's verbally abusive. And when I told her that she was verbally abusive, I calmly said, the things that you're saying, it's considered verbal abuse. Oh, you're saying I'm abusive. Then she calls my mother. Then my mother want to call and cuss me out. No, you're not getting ready to cuss me out because I told the truth. That's not how that's going to work for me. Then, there's a form of competition there, especially with my mother. I graduate from college, all of a sudden she goes back to college. But she's the type of person who doesn't finish what she starts. And at first I was like, oh, I'm glad I was able to motivate her to go back to college. And then I realized, wait a minute, she's doing this out of jealousy and to compete with me, not because she was so inspired just to graduate. That's very different. And when you realize that, it makes you feel different. Because again, there's a lack of encouragement and a lack of support there. You're trying to be competitive. That doesn't feel good. Again, they'll try to degrade you to other family members and make it seem like you're the one who's toxic.